Coach Schaefer, linebacker from Abilene Christian, and this is a Red, White, and You podcast hosted by Kendra Sheehan.
Week 10 has come and gone, and things certainly shook up in the UAC this weekend. No more undefeated teams. Tarleton State was defeated by Abilene Christian this past Saturday at home. A huge win for the Wildcats. Hello and welcome to the Red, White, and You podcast, the official podcast of the United Athletic Conference. I'm your host, Kendra Sheehan, and today's special guest is the UAC Defensive Player of the Week, Rashon Myles Jr., a huge part of that massive victory. And I know it's Thursday and you got to refocus for this Saturday, but I imagine there has got to be plenty of good vibes in that ACU football locker room after that past Saturday.
Yeah, it was quite the W, especially in the fashion that we won with our kicker Brandon Perez making the field goal. It was amazing. You know, all glory to God. Without him, any of this wouldn't be possible. But we just stuck together. We meshed. We knew it was going to be a hard game, and we expected to win. So when it happened, it was a bit of a shock in the fashion it happened, but we were ready for victory. So nothing to be surprised about.
You look at how it happened, 31-28. It was a walk-off field goal you mentioned by Perez. An incredible atmosphere as well. And, no team has been able to defeat Tarleton State. They were 9-0 coming into this. So what did you guys do in your game plan that allowed you to hand Tarleton State their first loss of the season, something that nobody else could do this season?
Yeah, we knew they were a good team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. They were a really explosive team, and on defense, they were turning the ball over a lot. So we usually have our keys to victories, and one of those was protecting the ball on offense and trying to get takeaways on defense. And then the next thing was third down, getting off the field on third down. We knew that was going to be crucial going into the rest of the game. It was really about just bonding together and bonding into the scheme that the coaches had put together. We've played each other before, so we're very familiar with their team, how they like to do things. And in the atmosphere, like you said, that was something we fed off of. The fans were there. TSU had a whole bunch of fans there too. So it was really just about buying into the scheme and just doing what our coaches were telling us to do and just perfecting and bonding together. We knew that it was going to be a tough game. There was ups and downs. We were up 18 going into that fourth quarter. So we really had to mesh together and hang in there to get that victory.
Yeah, you mentioned that fourth quarter. I mean, Tarleton State rattles off 18 unanswered points to tie it all up. And so obviously a gritty, tough fourth quarter. How did this defensive unit stay together and somehow manage to get your kicker in a position where you guys could walk it off?
Yeah, having an 18-point lead, we knew that we had to get some more stops in order to get off the field. And a lot of it came down to forcing field goals. There was a drive where they moved down into the red zone, and we forced the field goal. So instead of just kicking it to tie it up or kicking it to, be down a couple points, we're kicking it to win the game. So we just knew that we had to hunker down. We knew they were explosive offense. So holding them to 28 points compared to what they were scoring, I think 42 per game, that was really big for us. It was about taking a drive by drive, step by step. Okay, they scored some points. Let's refresh on the bench, get back out there and prevent that from happening again.
I know one of the things that head coach Keith Patterson always talks about is winning at home. And right now you guys are 4-0. You have one more game against Utah Tech this weekend, so a chance to be undefeated at home. How much did that play into it of Coach Patterson saying, look, if we want to win the conference, if we want to go to the playoffs, we got to be perfect at home?
Yeah, he said it all year long. One of our 3 goals was to go undefeated at home. And he says when we do that, we put ourselves in a position to play meaningful football in November. And now we're doing that, potentially going to be playing for the conference championship. But, we got to take it a step at a time. Our goal this year, like you mentioned, is to go undefeated at home. And we have a good Utah Tech team. We don't look at records here. If you watch the games closely against some of the teams they've played in the UAC, they're playing them very closely. And they're a different team compared to last year. So like you said, it was a great win last week. We got to flush it, be able to turn off the lights, get back to this week, and then just continue to stack so we can go undefeated at home coming up this Saturday.
You had the game-high 11 tackles in that one. You were a huge factor for the defense. What made that game give you such an edge that you knew, hey, I have to come out and perform, and you certainly lived up to that?
Yeah, we did some different things on defense. I'm sure they were expecting us to come out in a certain look, and we really honed down on you know what, we're going to stop the run this week. That's something that we're going to do. We're going to force you guys to pass. So we have excellent DBs in the back end. And my team put me in a lot of good positions. The staff put me in a lot of great positions, trusted me with the scheme to be able to execute some of these blitzes that allowed me to get to the quarterbacks twice that game. And then a lot of it came down to our D-line sucking up the double team blocks. And then I was able to just to shoot the gaps and make plays. It was really just knowing that my teammates needed me in those moments, just doing my 111, not trying to do too much, trying to do too little. And then once you get in those positions, you just got to capitalize on the opportunities. And thankfully, I was able to do that and help our team out.
This has been a fun rivalry between these two schools. There's not a whole lot of distance that separates ACU and Tarleton State. I mean, last year it came down to this is the game that you guys clinched the regular season title. I was there for that one. That was an electric win. And so,
Yeah.
how much has this close rivalry become an extra edge where it's not only, of course, you guys are the top two teams in the conference right now, but it's also a matter of pride, of Texas pride.
Yeah, when you're an hour and a half away from an opponent, especially one in the same conference and the caliber of teams that us and Tarleton are, it's naturally going to create some rivalry there. And let alone that this goes back way before even this year. It was going to get dicey. We knew the environment was going to be a lot. I mean, heck, if you even checked out on Twitter, the fans were going back and forth. So not only was this a game that we know we both needed, Tarleton as well, I'm sure knew we needed to elevate ourselves to potentially be able to play for something bigger later on in the future. But we knew that this rivalry is important for us. It's a pride thing here at ACU, but we also don't think about them too much as much as probably they think about us. We just try to stay focused on what ACU can do. We don't listen to the outside noise. We knew we had to beat Tarleton. We knew it was a big game. We knew it was a rivalry. We didn't play down. But we just knew that we had to execute our job. And, just like any other team, we just had to beat them to get on to what we wanted to really do.
Did you guys know that with a Texan victory, they would have clinched at least a share of the regular season?
Yeah, we were aware. I mean, these guys came in 9-0. All respect to those guys. They're a great team, great organization. They fought hard. They are a great team. And watching on film some of the FBS opponents they were able to knock off and compete with, we knew that we had to bring it. So we knew going into that game, especially after a loss versus Southern Utah, we knew we had to win this game. It's something that we had to do, just like we had to beat Utah Tech, Central Arkansas, and Eastern Kentucky. That was just step one of the next 3-4 opponents that we had to play.
Yeah, you mentioned Southern Utah. You go on the road, you get your first conference loss against the Thunderbirds, then you go on the bye week. How much did that bye week allow you guys to refocus, maybe heal some guys that were banged up, so that you could attack these final 4 regular season games, including that Tarleton State one, with that edge so that you could be in control of your own destiny?
Yeah, so that bye week was huge for everybody. Because if you count fall camp and the football season, you're really playing that was 8 weeks, where you're really playing like 13, 14 weeks of football in a row. And our team practices hard and we do a lot of things hard here, and it was good for our body to get back. The coaches did a really good job taking care of us. Coach Womack, our strength coach, he got our bodies back. And then on top of that, you get the mental break. Football can become a grind for people. You know what I mean? It's good to get a refreshment, good to breathe a little bit, 3-4 days off, and then come back focused for the next game. It was absolutely huge for us. Like you said, we got our bodies back. We started feeling good. Some guys were able to heal, and we just had to lock in on the next week. So it was extremely important for us.
I know it's always sometimes tough to go into a bye after a loss because you just kind of want to get back out there and get into the win column. But do you think that having that loss and then getting the opportunity to get back on track and refocus and maybe clean up some of the things that you thought, hey, this was working, but these are how opponents can expose those certain areas?
Yeah, the bye week was good because we got to spend a good amount of time looking at that, what we do good, what we haven't been doing good. Hats off to Southern Utah. They're playing good ball right now. They came in, we came into their stadium, and we just didn't execute, as simple as that. They're a good team despite the record. Like I said, we knew they were going to come out and play hard. They have a good offense, good defense. So it was good for us to be able to, sometimes you got to be able to take a look back and be like, these are the things that we can fix. Thankfully, we had an opportunity to fix that and then knock off a team that was going to get a share if we were to lose that game, but thankfully we won. So now it propels us, and we just got to keep on doing what we did that helped us win that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. You look at the depth of the UAC with Tarleton State, with you guys, Southern Utah playing excellent, even some of the teams that are record are lower in the standings. I mean, they're playing good football. And so obviously this win is a huge statement, and Tarleton State was taking a lot of the glory of the season being undefeated. But how much of a statement did you guys want to make showing, hey, don't forget about the Wildcats. Here we are, and we're coming.
Yeah, we say we're conference champions until somebody knocks us off, and we have to keep on going back and deserving the right to win. We knew that we lost the game, and overall, our record isn't, as pretty as maybe Tarleton's 9-0. But there's a lot of things that go into that. We played some really good teams, and we played a lot of games on the road. So we just wanted to make a statement, not only to the people, but to ourselves that, hey, we still belong here. We won conference last year, and we're going to go out and try to do it again this year, no matter the cost, no matter what it takes. Those are things that we're going to try to get done. And all it is up from here. We just got to continue to work together, keep bonding. And I'm glad we made that statement, and people still are talking about ACU. We just got to keep it going.
Looking at your journey, you started at Northern Illinois, and then this is your second year, obviously, at Abilene Christian. Were you born in Abilene initially?
Yeah, my father played football here and from '03 to '07. And then my mother actually went to grad school here. She followed my dad from IU when he transferred. So I was born here. I played, I was over walking all around the field at Shotwell, the high school they played at before they got their own facilities. This is my hometown. I've had family here. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Reese, was actually there. Uh, and she was like, "Oh, I got RJ. I remember you from when you were so young." So it's just a true full circle. And this is my home. I have family, my uncle, Mr. Bowman, Dr. Taylor, and their family. Like, these people raised me down here, so I know a lot of people. I was absolutely born here and raised here. So yes, ma'am.
Was it always your goal to get back to Abilene? I mean, you started at Northern Illinois, but to come and play at home and also play at your dad's alma mater as well, and your mom's.
Yeah, to be honest, no. I knew I lived in Abilene at some point. I moved back up to Indiana when I was like 6 or 7, and me being able to like get in the portal, it was a hard time for me. Getting in the portal is very humbling. I needed to look at some things I need to do better, needed to mature up, and luckily my dad was able to, contact some people, and they looked at me and they said, "Hey, this is a guy we want." I'm so thankful for, the Wildcat staff down here giving me an opportunity. I'm sure I don't even know if they would have recruited me if I wasn't near this place because I'm all the way from Indiana. But when this opportunity opened up, I couldn't say no. This is a full circle moment. I'm so grateful.
And were your parents obviously probably in the stands this past weekend? And what do you think that's like for them to be able to watch you have the success that you're having at a place that's very special?
Uh, it's a blessing. Like I said, the Lord has blessed me and my family, and He's given me an opportunity to, showcase my talent, not only just at the D1 level, but the school my dad went to. I wear his football jersey number, and those types of things really do matter. I've had some games where my mom and me are we're crying, hugging each other, and my dad he had some tears in his eyes after this last game, just knowing the journey, like you said, that I've been through. Throughout these last couple of years, and then to be able to have the success I'm having, I'm so thankful for the staff, my teammates, my family. It's just a full circle moment for me. So I'm so blessed.
Now, your dad played running back, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you decided to go on the other side of the ball. Was it ever, a question of, hey, I want to follow in my dad's footsteps in the same position, or I want to same sport but pave my own way?
Yeah, he told me he always talks about how his body hurts. He's like, my body. He's like, you know what, RJ, you should go on to the defensive side of the ball. You're getting bigger. He's a bigger guy too. He said, "You're going to be a linebacker one day." When I was young, I hated that because I love being on offense. I played offense my whole life. He's like, "You're going to be linebacker." So I moved to safety, got bigger, and kept going, and now I'm a backer. He just told me basically, there's not a lot of people that can do awesome things on defense as much as offense, and you're going to protect yourself later in the future as you're taking the hits at running back. You're giving the hits at linebacker, so it's just more of more of an investment thing, but it's turned out pretty well for me.
Now, as you come back to Abilene, what were some of the biggest changes from when you were there from birth till age 6 to now coming back and playing college football there?
Yeah, they got some new stuff down here in Abilene. Abilene is a weird town to describe. It's big. That's why they call it big country. It's spread out, but then there's like pockets of like feels like city, and then there's pockets of like kind of country. I don't remember the pockets of the city. Right where I live, they got a strip of just amazing restaurants and places like that, and they got that scattered all around the town. Those were things weren't there, and then let alone Abilene has grown. It's gotten a lot bigger, and then ACU alone. My dad didn't even have his own facility to play football on. So looking back on it, it's made some great, journeys and some great changes. And I'm glad I'm able to come here and play here for a great school, great town, great people.
Yeah, even I've been with the WAC for about 4 years and the UAC for the 3 years. And each time I go to Abilene, it gets bigger and bigger. There's more things popping up left
Yeah,
and right. It's pretty impressive.
it is. It is. I like it. I like big country. I'm hoping my voice gets a little bit more country too. So when I go back to Indiana, I feel a little bit more Texan. But yeah, I love it down here. It's amazing.
Now, what is one thing that fans don't know about you, whether it's a unique hobby, something you do in your free time, a special talent? What is something that no one would guess just by looking at you?
I'll make anything competitive. We can be playing Scramble or Monopoly, and I'll find a way to make it the diciest game of all time. Um, I'm a guy that loves to, just compete, have fun. I take on a lot of hobbies. I'm play video games. I skateboarded for a little bit until I found out it was a little too dangerous to be doing that and playing football. So I do a lot of different things. People are usually shocked when I say I do these different types of things in my life. There's not one specific thing. You ask me anything, I'll be down for it. Besides maybe hiking and hunting and all that, I don't like being around those big animals. But if there's anything, I just like being around and just doing different things every day, like being competitive and having fun.
I actually, have you ever been wakeboarding? I'm only saying that because I went this past weekend and it was miserable. I thought I was pretty athletic and I got humbled so quickly.
We're talking about the wakeboarding with the hands on the with the
Yes,
funny
on the
story.
water.
Yeah, I did that 3 years ago with my friends back in high school. I was talking all this stuff before I went off to my first college. I was like, this is gonna be nothing. This is easy. I've seen it. I've done it on Wii Sports, so I should be able to do it here. Long story short, I couldn't even get up on the board. I was just getting smashed by the water, and eventually, after 6 tries, I just said I'm done. And that was the last time I tried wakeboarding. So props to you for even attempting that, because I won't be doing that again.
Yeah, no, I basically went flat, 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 and then woke up super sore. So that was
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, I was like, how can water make me sore? I feel like I played a football game after this. So yeah, I'm not doing
Right. Circling back to football, because obviously you got a big matchup against Utah Tech. What have you guys been focusing on this week? Obviously, a huge performance against Charleston State, but there's still things to clean up. You're playing your best football in November. What's been the focus this week?
building consistency. Too many times we've won good games against, and like you said, the UAC has great opponents. We've played a fair amount of ranked opponents just alone in our conference. You get a big win, and then we go on the road, or we play somebody that might be a little lower with the rankings or with their record, and we just need to be more consistent. Hats off to the teams that beat us. We deserve to lose those games, but the biggest thing is just we need to be consistent this week, and not only after Utah Tech, we got to go on the road and be Road Warriors. That's what we call it. So we just got to stay consistent, stay humble. Don't let your highs be too high. Don't let your lows be too low, and just steady the pace, and then we'll be fine.
Well, Rashon, it was awesome getting to know you as Abilene Christian has one more home game before they hit the road for the final 2 games of the regular season, a chance to go 5-0, perfect, undefeated at home on the line against Utah Tech. It's a 2 p.m. Central Time kickoff on ESPN Plus. Best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good one.